Life can feel like an endless uphill battle sometimes. We are constantly bombarded with pressures. These pressures come from work, relationships, and our own internal struggles. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and lost in the sea of negativity. But what if I told you there is a way to transform your mindset? What if you could find peace and strength in the midst of chaos? This was the question I found myself asking when I was at a low point in my life. I was tired. I was stressed. I knew I needed a change. That's when I discovered the power of biblical affirmations. I've always been a man of faith, but like anyone, I have moments of doubt and anxiety. Life's challenges can sometimes make us forget the promises of God. We can forget our own strength. I knew I needed to find a way to reconnect with my faith. I wanted to experience its power in a tangible way. That's when I made the decision to embark on a 30-day journey of using biblical affirmations. I had heard about the transformative power of speaking God's word over your life. I was eager to experience it for myself. Before starting this journey, my mind was often a battleground of negative thoughts. I would constantly worry about the future. I would doubt my abilities. I would get stuck in cycles of fear and negativity. It was exhausting. I knew these thoughts were holding me back from living the abundant life God intended for me. I realized I needed a spiritual reset. I needed to replace those negative thoughts with the truth of God's Word. Biblical affirmations became my weapon of choice. I would use them to combat the lies I had been believing about myself and my circumstances. Every morning, I would wake up and spend time in prayer and meditation. I would ask God to guide me in choosing the right affirmations for that day. I would then select a few verses from the Bible. These verses resonated with me. They spoke to the specific challenges I was facing. I would write these verses down on index cards and carry them with me throughout the day. Whenever I felt overwhelmed, I would take out my cards. I would repeat the affirmations to myself, out loud or silently, and repeated it throughout the day. Some days felt powerful, other days robotic. For example, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me became, I am strong and capable through Christ. Each word was a declaration of faith, a reminder of God's promises, and a shield against negativity. The 30-day journey wasn't always easy. There were days when I felt discouraged. There were moments when doubts crept back in, but I pressed on, clinging to the affirmations like a lifeline. As I continued to speak these words over my life, I began to notice subtle shifts in my mindset, my emotions, and even my conversations. I felt a renewed sense of hope and peace. My anxieties lessened. I started to approach challenges with a newfound confidence and resilience. I was no longer defined by my circumstances. I was being transformed by the renewing of my mind. One morning, I woke up and the first thought in my head wasn't worry. It was faith. That day, I realized I wasn't just saying affirmations, I believed them. My mindset had changed. I was calmer, more grounded. I could feel the truth of God's word anchoring my soul. This 30-day challenge reminded me that change doesn't happen overnight, but God's word renews our minds daily. And now these affirmations are part of my life. Have you ever tried biblical affirmations? Let me know in the comments. And if you're ready to dive deeper, watch this next video on daily affirmations to start your day with power. God bless you.